Well, it sets now at $1.2 trillion, right? As of today, it's $1.2 trillion.
It'll probably be double that at least.
Yeah, McCain is calling it a $1 trillion. He's talking about an extra trillion being added to it. So.
Well, and then the challenge you said previously was, well, not, I mean, in our previous conversations,
Yeah.
is that what Paulson was proposing, the $700 billion, was actually for a couple years, not for a couple month period.
Couple months period. But that is also being changed. What the Democrats are wanting is, I love this one, $150 billion for the next 2 months, and then if more money is needed, we'll hold new discussions after the next president is office.
Basically, they're all hedging. It's like they want to give their constituents something,
Yeah.
and they're hedging their bets till.
Yeah, but what the constituents
conversation.
are going to get is out of the $150 billion they're talking about right now, I bet.
Well, you know the tricky part is I remember with Countrywide and these other bailouts, supposedly it's like they put infusion into these companies, and they're supposed to loosen it up and start loaning money.
Yeah.
The companies just kept the money.
They kept the money.
Okay,
It's like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, I think, invested the money they got in more real estate. Bought more toxic material
yeah.
that basically they knew couldn't be paid back. They just expanded their portfolio instead of setting on the money to do business. Okay, we're going to try it again. John McCain was right when John McCain said this economy is basically sound. These companies have got assets. I mean, I would be happy to have itty-bitty amount of the assets of Washington Mutual who's going to fold.
But the biggest challenge is when you have these assets and they're not liquid,
Yeah.
you still have liquidity issues because you have money that's owed.
They have money that's owed, plus by law. This is the only part that really is a violation of. By law, all of these businesses have to have X amount of dollars on hand every day of business. If they miss a day, then basically they're insolvent. It doesn't make any difference. I mean, okay, some of these people are more, Goldman Sachs, for instance, is more solid than, actually, I'm going to say the government of the United States, but actually.
Well, Warren Buffett,
Okay.
I mean, that's a good indication. Warren Buffett just was putting,
I know.
$5 billion?
He's putting actually going to be another $5 billion, but he's doing it because he has the cash flow that he can put into it. It's just
He's doing it because it's a good investment.
yeah. Okay, Goldman Sachs is more solvent than Bill Gates, and we know that Bill Gates is massively solvent.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the difference is they just don't have.
Liquid.
Okay, it's just like my mother used to say when she would do business with some suppliers. That they sell good product, but they don't have two nickels to rub together at the same time. We can't deal with people like that because they. If they can't pay their bills, they're going to be using our money to do it, and you don't want to do business with people like that. That is the problem that exists. People do not want to do business with these people that can't pay their bills. Yeah, it's the same thing as I know because my family's been in the housing business. we would know that. We would get a lot of people that would simply, there would be times when the market was down, like it is now, that you're stuck with product that you can't get rid of.
And you can only barter so much.
You can only barter so much. I mean, you go.
I mean, try and barter with the cellular phone company.
Yeah, you can't. They don't.
Or water and power.
They don't. I mean, so basically, it's like my father always had to have a secondary job. Otherwise, it was sort of popping a month. But this is the same thing with businesses today. Goldman Sachs, Lehman Brothers. There was nothing wrong with the structure of the business. It's just no money. It's why banks that have money are not making loans, because they're afraid that if they make loans and they don't have money coming in,
then
they have a liquidity problem.
Well, wait a minute, but don't they make money by making loans?
Not if the loan isn't paid. They don't.
Oh, so you have to make good loans.
You have to make good loans, and
That's why they're so strict right
now. But it goes back, like I've said this a lot of times before. When I was younger, the only way that you could actually buy a house was if you could show a banker your wallet and there was enough money in that wallet
to buy the
pay
house.
the house, he would make you a loan. How many people can walk into a bank and say they have that much money in their pocket?
Gosh.
So even the wealthier, we're seeing homes, that are justifiably $1 million homes on the beach that nobody will take because they can't get financing. The rich cannot get financing because they don't have. You got, say, you say you're a Harrison Ford and you make $20 million a picture. You just made a picture that made, basically is the second highest grossing picture of all time, which is Indiana Jones. That's worldwide grossing things. And he's got a percentage of profit sharing. The problem is he doesn't actually have any cash.
Yep.
It's like, we're just using Harrison for an example. The man is worth an ungodly amount of money from this one movie alone, but it isn't in cash yet.
Well, and a lot of times it's like part of it is you've been told throughout the years, don't keep it all in cash. You got to invest the money.
Yeah, but the people that invested in the market, they're screwed at the moment. They don't have any money.
Oh, that's when cash is king.
That's right. That's why the money market people are having a bit of a problem, because their money is stuck in things. They can't. I mean, who do you go to get money back to pay your bills?
Your uncle.
Your uncle, that's it.
Is that why they're all going to Uncle Sam?
They're all going to Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam can get the $700 billion. But here's the problem, as we were telling everybody. Why everybody is trying to get theirs now is because when the 700, which is actually $1.2 trillion, goes through, all of the pet projects come to an end, period. Because there's no money in the piggy bank then, folks.
Oh, that's why they're all trying to get their pet projects. So what gets priority? Is it a pet project to bail out a pet project? I mean, it's like,
well,
you know what I mean?
The wind power people are trying to get theirs right as quick as they can. The solar power, the coal people, everybody is trying to get it right now because they know that the next presidency is going to have no money to play with. I mean, okay, you've seen the end of the Iraq War this week, because they're going to pull people out. I mean, it's going to be a run for the helicopters, almost like it was in Vietnam. Not because we're afraid of anybody, because there isn't any money to pay for the bills.
Well, I mean, do they actually spend money, or is it just like guaranteeing them? I mean,
no, it's in real money.
Okay.
Because
so they just mint some more?
Well, no, but then it drives down the value of your
the
dollar.
dollar.
So we don't print more money to cover the bills. We just borrow money to pay the bills. There are people out there that will lend to the United States based on the assets the United States has, all the money the United States wants. I mean, George Bush could probably, under an emergency thing, go borrow $1 trillion tomorrow from other countries. I mean, I'm certain that the Chinese and the Russians would give him $2 trillion if that's what he wanted.
Yeah, but then the question always is, what is the cost?
Well, the cost
you know what I mean?
But the cost is that he has to turn over, like they're wanting 70% of all these businesses that they're investing in, then he would turn that over to them.
Yeah, so
that's the cost. It's just like the Bank of Hong Kong is negotiating. Actually, it's also with COVID. Actually, it's one of the companies to pump like $20 billion. I know it's Morgan Stanley. I guess $20 billion into Morgan Stanley. But it's, we're getting heavier and heavier investments from people that do have money. But then again, they print their own. So
maybe we should do more of that.
But it tends to be people that have lots of high oil. There's the Arab countries want to put money in. The Russians want to put money in. The Chinese want to put money in. They don't have their own oil, but they have lots of money. Like I said, they print it. But this is, there's got to be more on this tomorrow. I mean, this landscape changing because we don't have any idea what's going on between the president and Obama and McCain. I do have a suspicion that since there are 2 Republicans there and 1 Democrat, that Mr. Obama is more listening than he is telling them how it's going to be.
But aren't they also meeting with the other leaders too?
Yeah, that comes after the private one.
Oh, okay.
So I have my idea that this isn't one of these John McCain things. It's more Mr. Obama sitting with his hands underneath him and listening to what's going on. And then when the other leaders come in, it's going to be John McCain. Which basically, that's going to be once again what McCain wants. He's going to get the day. It's all going to be John McCain. So, but we'll talk more about this tomorrow. So until then, this is Oldecam and the Southwest Air Jet going over us.
And this is not a spring chick.
I can let you go.